All right. So for 9.5, again, another little hit and run one. Very, very few details, just building each one of these builds a little bit on the previous one. So for 9.5, we're going to be giving directions, specifically looking at next to and across from. And really, the main thing to think about is we're talking about an intersection. We're going to start from that reference point, is how do we give directions in reference to that, to an intersection. So the things that are going to be important is, remember what we talked about in ASL 1 with signer's perspective, where if I'm signing, I will sign something to the right. It means to the right. You will have to sign it to your right. So we're at opposites, remember? So that's signer's perspective. If I'm looking at a map of the US, Florida for me is here. Florida for you is on this opposite lower corner. Okay. So we are also going to be using the idea of the horizontal layout. So I move forward and turn right, it's forward, turn right. Okay. So if I give references, but if I'm giving references in space, you also can see it as an actual layout of the town. So you can see that's the weird part for the viewer, is that you are doing a combination of, I'm seeing the layout, but then I also am switching the perspective so that I can take their place as the driver and see the directions. This is a kind of weird one, and the more you just watch, it makes sense. It's the same in English when we give directions. You go, okay, you're going to go down, you're going to turn right, then you're going to turn left, then you're going to go down for a while, and then when you see Bob's house, then after Bob's house you turn right, and it takes you right there. It's going to be about 4 hours, but that's out in the country. So signer's perspective, and then the horizontal map orientation. Ideally, we use GPS and we look at maps all the time, so this should be pretty easy to do. Especially if you're the kind of person who draws directions as opposed to writes them out, this might be very easy. The next section of content in here is raising the brows to establish a reference point. We already do it for topics, right? We've done it for drawing shapes, where so if there's a number 7 underneath the triangle, we set this up, then we point down here, and then we show the 7, right? So we're going to do the same thing, but we said, so the store is here, the next one is something else. So we can establish it and then use this as the little marker, the reference point, or we can. Okay. So that's the raising brows to establish, using the weak hand to make the reference point and keep it there. And then using our facial expression to set so that small, medium, large facial expression, small, medium, large, small face, everything kind of, oh. And if we're talking about something really close, it's just right over there. It's a small sign versus mouth open. And if it's a reasonable distance. Okay. So that's that last bullet point. The only vocab we've got is going to be using the 4 corners. I'll show this in just a second. And then we've already done next to or next to and across from. So those will apply to the corners in just a moment. We've used these businesses before. We learned those in previous chapters. So McDonald's, I'm going to just do hotel, Starbucks, and curves for exercise place. Remax, Cell House, whatever. IKEA store, AAA, Macy's, apostrophe S, 7-Eleven, Ace, hardware store, sandwich store, sandwich restaurant, and then alcohol store, wine, alcohol, wine. AT&T, or phone store, funeral home, and dollar store. Okay. City hall, courthouse, police or police, fire department or fire, and then parking area or parking building. Right? So now this is the diagram we're going to use for this chapter. And I'm going to have to play because of the camera angle, but you're going to be showing the outline of the corners. So streets, and then there's an intersection. So if you were filming me from the top. So the corners you're going to show are this, right? So that's the near left, near right, far left. And it makes so much more sense if you're looking down. So I would recommend just draw those 4 little angles, right? So you got the streets. So it's boom, 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 boom. And you want to show that corner. And sometimes you'll do it like corner, 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 corner. It just takes some getting used to play around with it, but it's not that tough. So near right, you kind of squish in. Near left. Far right, it's a little bit more relaxed. Those two across from each other. These two across from each other. These two across from each other. These two across from each other. So if you're saying you are going to turn right, so at the corner, turn right. At the corner, turn left. At the corner, there's Starbucks, turn right. At this corner, there's curves, turn left. Okay? At the corner, across is the Starbucks. This corner, across is the IKEA. Big paw. Turn right. Could be keep going straight. So at the McDonald's, keep going straight. Okay. We will get into how you label the cross street and all that for right now. All I want you to do is practice with what's on each of those 4 corners. Okay. So they go through a couple iterations. Practicing these, both what is on the corner, which corner, and then what's across from or across Starbucks. Starbucks across 7-Eleven. Okay. So you should be able to do all, you can do diagonal across, but it's not as useful. We tend to go across the street this way. I mean, you can, but you have to be very clear with it to make sure that they're not thinking it's directly across the street. Plus you wouldn't want to jaywalk. Now, this is where we get to next, or 1, 2, 3, or so at the corner 7-Eleven store. So you can practice each of these. So you could do at the corner, just before parking area, before that sandwich shop, and even before that dollar store. So it literally is just, so you set up from the corner and then work your way out, work your way back, work your way forward. Boom, 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 boom. All right. I mean, it literally is. This is what we would be doing in class. I would say, okay, where's the IKEA? And you have 4 reference points at the corners, and you can give me whatever way you want to get me to the IKEA. You could say courthouse is here, next is City Hall and Remax and Hyatt, and across from the Hyatt is the IKEA on the left. And that's, again, where signer's perspective is. On the left, on the right. So literally, if you just follow the directions, ask where, I mean, this would be the dialogue. You ask where something is. Where is the Remax? person would give the location from the corner or in reference from the corner initially and then from a place. So in reference to. And that's really all there is to this unit. It's just getting used to that corner and next to and across from. So it's a baby step. The next class, we would just do this. So that's all I want you to do is to practice with the four corners and then practice with, here's this building and the next one. Here's this building, the next one, the next one, next one. That's it. My chair's making really weird noises. Cool. So that is 9.5. And there's just those couple of vocab. And really, if you look at the book, two. There's no, I mean, the homework is those discussion questions where I'm like, it's like circle, fill in the space. I will include in here the videos from here. So they're processing right now. So once I get those in there, it will be much clearer. Just different examples. There's no real homework, but I'll see if I can flesh it out a little bit more. But really, the videos are very clear, and it shows you everything you need to know. And then I basically would just practice it in class with you. So it's all the same stuff.